guys, I'm Ree.
This is Sprint Ravers.
And this is the Need to Know. So guys, we're back. And this is 9, right? I think so. So, it's 10 really already? Damn. We moving. All right. So this is episode 10, guys. And today we're talking about content creation. So, you do have two wonderful people here that do content creation. So I'm really psyched to talk about like our different processes, especially how we're transitioning the show. And then of course, you know, I did my nice little guest appearance on the Millennial View.
Yes.
Millennial View, yes. And it was actually fun. Like I definitely enjoyed myself. But we're definitely going to get into the do's, the don'ts. We're going to get into the pros, the cons. We're going to get into all of that good stuff right now. So we can talk about, to start, I guess just creating the idea of each show.
So for those of you that don't know, I am the founder of the Millennial View podcast. I started this last October. I've been wanting to do a podcast for many years, but I didn't want to balance content creation alongside athletics and school because I feel like school and my athletics were like the biggest priorities in my life at the time. However, like even before college, I was doing content on Facebook. You know, I was just being myself on Facebook, talking about, you know, different topics and put a little twist in it with a little comedy and, you know, guest appearances from like, you know, family members and friends. And it was a fun run, to be honest. But I couldn't keep it up on my page because my dad was like, you know, coaches are recruiting for college and, you know, it wouldn't be a good look for them to see you acting silly on social media. So, you know, that kind of hurt me, you know what I'm saying? But then there came a time where I started taking dancing serious again, and I started posting dance videos on my IG, you know what I'm saying? And people, real of us, clear of us, big up on ourselves. I was just enjoying myself. And, you know, after that, I just thought about, you know what, I need to start like making content again. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, I just created like this plan where I'm like, you know what, I gotta have a little setup. You know, get mics, come up with a name of, you know, my channel that I'm going to create. And, you know, I've also been like watching like other podcasts. Yes, watch, because I don't listen to podcasts. For some reason, I just can't like listen to the audio alone. Like it will like throw me off. I need to watch you. Yeah, I've been watching other podcasts such as The Fix and Let's Be Honest. And those are two very great podcasts that pushed me to you know, start my platform. And The Need to Know also pushed me as well because they had a guest that I knew, big up Baylor. Yeah, they pushed me as well because I like their setup and, you know, the way they ran their show. So, you know, you can add Need to Know to my influences as well.
Okay, thank you. For us, I did come up with the idea to do the show, and I did bring it to Mar and talk to him about it. I've said this many times on the show. I spoke to Mar because he already did YouTube. He already had a platform. He already created content. You know, he had his comedy skits. He had he did a lot of vlogs. He did a lot of different things. So he was already familiar with YouTube. He was already familiar with like editing and the camera, and he already had all of that stuff. So it was like, in terms of the background stuff, we already had that. In terms of actual topics now, I had it's me. Like I usually come up with majority if not all the topics. I always come up with all the lists, and it's like I did want to have it where we're talking about topics that are going to entertain and also intrigue young minds. So it's like, you know, especially topics such as sex that a lot of people are that don't really probably want to talk about or have a hard time talking about. They don't have the person to talk about it with. So it's like we try to get those topics going. So I do try to, you know, keep it as intriguing, as spicy, as entertaining as it could be. So it's like that's like the content that I'm trying to get. So it's like something where young minds always have something to say, even if they're, I guess, nervous or scared, because even if that's the case, someone else always has something else to say. Like you always have someone to respond, and I feel like that's kind of where I build my comfortability on the show, because I always try to talk to everybody before. Like, this is what we're gonna do, this is the topic. I be like, don't be afraid of what I ask, because I will come at you with some real crazy stuff sometimes. But it's like, I want that platform. And I decided I thought that visual would be better than us doing audio, only because it's just more people rather watch than,
Then listen, because everybody has short attention span.
Right, you see, especially like if you see kids, they always watching something on YouTube. It's always a video. Like it's you never hear them listening to anything. Like they don't want to listen to nothing. You always hear them, like see them watching a video. And I see little kids watch people play with toys. I never seen nothing like that in my life. I was like, they watch them unbox the toy.
Unboxing toys.
Play with the toy.
Right.
You be like, what?
And these kids are making freaking thousands of just playing with the freaking action figure. Like,
and you're like, wow.
It's crazy.
Oh,
my fault. Oh.
And it's like, but that's the content that's making, like, getting people intrigued, because it's like, okay, well, something visual. That's why I think that a lot of podcasts now are making visuals, because it's like, oh, well, more people would rather watch than listen. And sometimes I do notice that a lot of people do listen to audio as they're driving. A lot of people do that if they don't listen to music. So I do know, like, why people kind of do audio sometimes. But it's like, in reality, if I want to sit home and watch, like, I'm going to watch on my phone, but I want to watch a video. I don't want to listen. Like, I want to listen to music because that's short.
No, exactly.
I don't want to watch a whole 2 hours, listen to a 2 hour show. I'm going to want to skip through it sometimes. It's going to be like...
Yeah. The thing, I mean, with audio has its ups and downs. Like, again, like, to piggyback off of what you said, nobody wants to sit and listen to a 2 hour show.
Right.
But the thing with audio is that's also another stream of income.
Right.
If you think about it, because people use Anchor, and once you add the sponsorship into your episode, boom, you get paid when somebody plays the episode. So that's the upside to, the whole audio thing. But yeah, with time, you want to like keep it short, like maybe like I go for under 30 minutes. You know what I'm saying? I've had some episodes where I went to like 45, 50 minutes. I think ours was like, 40 something minutes?
No, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, but it depends on the topic still. Like, you know, the topic and the energy has to, maintain. If that falls off, then yeah, like, they're going to be like, all right, yeah, I'm going to get back to this later. And some people forget to get back to it. You know what I'm saying?
Because it's like, because they just lost the train of thought about it.
Mm-hmm.
No, I do agree with that. We can talk about how some pros about you having both audio and visuals, and then I'll go about mine.
So with visual, right? I add like extra sound effects to my video. So I have like, I think it's like 3 different sound effects I use, and the sound effects are like, sound effects that people can relate to. Like if someone's speaking like straight facts, I put a ka-ching. If someone says something, stupid, I put the Windows error sound effect. You know what I'm saying? And also showing, like when I interview like upcoming artists, I show like, snippets of their music video, and even athletes as well, snippets of their highlights. It's people want to see like the movement and the energy that's being shown in the episode. You know what I'm saying? Audio, again, like, it's quick money. You know what I'm saying? But the thing with that is like, you have to have like big audience a little bit, because you want to like see the amount of plays to be above like maybe like 20. Because some people get discouraged when they see, oh, well, your episode this week only had 4 plays. You know what I'm saying? But it's like you just gotta keep uploading.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And just be consistent with the upload, and that way, people don't forget about you. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, I would say those are some pros with audio and visual.
Um, I do. So I'll go with pros for visuals because we have more visuals than audio. We're just starting. I don't think we told you. So we are starting to do the audio now. So we are gonna add that to our platforms just as the extra oomph. But we are gonna keep our YouTube platform. We're still gonna do that. So the audio we would have to see after this episode, like how we like that addition. But in terms of video, audio wise, I do think that seeing the interaction between the guests is where I like most. And people are always like, oh, you guys were so great, you guys. And then just as us together as a group, like I guess the bond or the connection that we made there was just it. Like we got there. So I do like how we're like, oh yeah, we agree, we disagree, we can actually have a good conversation and the conversation flows smoothly. I think that that's like a good addition, a good pro to having visuals. We have visuals for all 10 seasons now, so it's like it gets better. I think time is something in terms of video that's a con for us because it's like we're always battling between, when do we end the show, when do we not end the show. If the conversation is really good, it's like, do we cut it short? Should we have a time constriction on it? And it's like that has been always one of like our battles, especially each season, because it's like we would have one where it's like we would have multiple guests, so it's like the conversation is always gonna go longer.
Oh yeah.
And it's like, but it's always gonna be like, wow. Sometimes it's like you guys really are into it. It's like, okay, so if we have 2-3 guests, it's like, yeah, the conversation is always gonna be like big. It's like everybody always has something like, oh yeah, da da da, like, but that's like the good content because it's like people want to keep watching. But it's like then people are just so also worried about the time, like I have to watch this, or I have to still stay here. So that's something that I think is a con for us.
Yeah, I do agree with time. Like again, and it also depends on the topic too. Like if the topic is like what do the kids say these days? Spicy. Yeah, like if it's spicy, then yeah, it's gonna keep on going and going and going. But you can overcome that when it comes to uploading time. That's why timestamps are important. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, it's gonna be a drag to like, watch the video all over and you wanna like go to sleep and stuff. But yeah, the timestamps really play like a big role when it comes to time consumption. Like, yo, trust me, like that's why I say like me, I try to aim for like 20 minutes, 30 minutes. Like if I'm interviewing like a upcoming artist for like the first time on my show, I'm not going past 20 minutes. I'm not, because it's like what is there to like really like talk about? Like,
no, yeah, I agree with that. In terms of artists, I think the only thing, well, I don't think that we go too over on artist interviews now. I think that we're kind of like, this is what we always ask. This is like what we want to talk about. But I do think it also depends, it varies on the type of artist that they are, or like what type of music they have, like what they want to talk about in terms of like their music. I feel like that kind of varies because with us, we like to talk about what's their message, what's their like where they see themselves with those, like those are like our basic questions. But then it's like if you give me a good answer, I'm gonna have something else like to ask, like exactly. So it's like wow, like it does vary on the artist. But it's like like you said, you have certain things that you ask all the time and you're like, okay, well, if you do give me a good answer, like I'm gonna be like, okay, well, da 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 da, like I have something else. But it's like it's usually the same amount of time. We try to keep those really short in terms, like you said, because it's like it varies with so much with that.
I mean, my platform is not really like artist based. Like I will have like each season, I will have like probably like 3 artists a season, and then everybody else is either a content creator or someone that I just know that is passionate about certain topics. You know what I'm saying?
No, yeah, I definitely agree with getting who's passionate about the topics.
Mm.
That's why I definitely let all of our guests like pick where they want to go, because it's like
Mm-hmm.
if I know you're going to like that topic, then boom.
Yeah.
Like I know that you're going to have something to say, and we're going to really like dive into the conversation. Cuz I, especially with me, I personally, since we did the one host shows, the single host shows, I always get on the topics that are like has to do with sex, because that's usually what I talk about.
Mm.
I try to keep Shamar on like the regular topics, so like he don't have to ask too many spicy questions, because I always got something crazy to say. So, but it's like we know like I guess where we fall as hosts as well. Like,
Yeah.
you know what type of host that you are for the show.
Right.
So I think we could talk about that too, like what type of host we are in terms of our shows.
Mm.
I think that's I'm usually the more energetic person, as you, right,
Mm.
you see.
Yeah, so me, I think people just know, they know the know already. Like, I'm already always a hype up when, I'm introducing myself. I am your host, Spirit Ravens, with the pause and all that. And, I even have people like copy some of the stuff that I say. Oh, be sure to like, share, subscribe. Like, I feel like I set some type of tone, you know what I'm saying? And I feel, more confident when it comes to like, running a show, especially that I'm running it like by myself. Cause, well, I'll just tell the story. I used to have the show with one person, but they only lasted for like one episode because things went left, and I didn't have the time, so
No, yeah.
I had to like really like buckle down and really had to rejuvenate and come up with a backup plan, and then boom, I'm running the show by myself. So yeah, I'm more of I'm an energetic person. My chop my pot to a same time, like my come from country is eat, and I saw it go still, you know what I mean?
No, yeah. I definitely fall on your side of that category. I'm definitely the energetic person. I have my 1 or 2 episodes that I'm just like I'm over it at the moment. But it's
Mm-hmm.
like I'm usually like I'm like, oh yeah, like, and I always have my great intro, I have to go all out with the need to know. I have to be like, because listen, before I'm a little toned down this season. I haven't really did nothing crazy, but I usually
Mm-hmm.
be all mad happy, tilting my head. I be doing it, but yeah, I think that I bring that good positive energy in terms of like trying to keep the energy high,
Mm-hmm.
because it's like, I want us to like really jump into the conversation. Like I want it to, like how we're having a regular table talk, like we're all hanging out, we're all chilling. I think that that's like the energy that I want to keep having, because then that's where the show gets more comfortable for
Absolutely.
everybody.
Yeah, I think it's just you have to, not you have to, but you should be showing, more excitement, because we don't have a favorite guest. We
Right.
we like all our guests, like, cause the show is progressing. You have to build up more excitement. Like me, I'm always like smiling in the camera, and I ask my questions, and I fun fact, I don't write down my questions. I kind of like have a sense of what to ask them, because the topic is like something that like I know
Right.
well about. So but I'm not saying don't write questions down. Like, you should write like some type of organizer, that way it could keep you flowing, because you don't want to have any awkward silences and then get stuck on like, oh fuck, I forget what I was gonna ask you. You know what I'm saying? Like, everybody has their own way when it comes to like running their own platform. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
No, yeah, I think everybody definitely runs their shows differently. Like I've been on a few different podcasts,
Mm-hmm.
and it's like everybody definitely runs their show so so differently. I mean, I'd be like, wow. Like some are like they actually like they have to have that organization. I was like that before. I used to always have like, now I don't usually have a pen and paper, because I'm just
Mm-hmm.
like I know kind of what I want to talk about.
Right.
But it's like I used to always have like, this is what we're gonna talk about. These are my questions. This is what I
Mm-hmm.
want to ask. And then it's like I always but I would always sidetrack because I always have something else I want to ask.
Absolutely.
But it's like, that's my organization for right now. Because it's like, if you don't have that, especially first starting out, I feel it's like your head is going to be like, damn, I had this question.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's like, now I don't have it. Because I'm always like that.
Right.
Some point of the show, I always forget what I want to say, which is fine. But it's like, I always do have something else in the back of my head usually. So it's like, we could still, go back and forth. So I do think
Mm-hmm.
that's a pro and a good, I guess, or organizational skills.
Absolutely.
But I guess a good starter in terms of like creating your show. I think
Mm-hmm.
that's a good thing. But I guess we could talk about that too. Oh no, that's what I want to talk about. How do you come up with your topics? Like, is it random? Do you like do you like to do current things? Like, what's your
So
go-to?
depend like all right. So the first 2 seasons, I depended on current stuff that were happening,
Mm-hmm.
and then I would like you know really like look into like my followers and the people that I network with and see who is really like up for the challenge to talk about this certain topic. You know what I'm saying? Um Last season was more I let people like pick their own passion to talk about, or like I study the person and I
Right.
see what they post on their social media, what they reshare, and then I just get in contact with them like, yo, you want to talk about
Mm.
sex on the first date, or what to do on the first date on Ray, you know what I'm saying? Like, I had an idea already of what to talk about because
Yeah.
I watch what you do on social media and I watch your show, so that's why
Right.
I'm like, all right, no, I have a sense
Of what you want
what to do with this guest, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, season 3 it was more like I let people suggest what they want to talk about, and I'm currently doing that for this season as well. And I'm also coming up with topics as well, because I always see something new on
Right.
social media that triggers my mind, like, yo, you know what, we could talk about it and see what I'm going.
For me, I usually come up with them like super randomly because
Mm-hmm.
I do. For the first couple of seasons, I did try to stick with like sex love relationships. Like, I did really buckle down on those, but we did have a lot where we did, you know we did have artists on the show. We tried to get them on the
Mm-hmm.
show, so we did like segments about them. We did like, those are like full-blown interviews though. Like,
Mm-hmm.
then season 2 we went into full-blown interviews with videographers, other content creators, party promoters. We did stuff like that season.
Mm-hmm.
Then we always had artists on the show, but then we added them to our actual, like, this is the topic. We'll interview at like, we'll do like a mini interview at the end, so you would promote yourself, kind of like how we do it still now. Like, we would just let you guys promote yourselves at the end. It would just be, now it's just a little shorter because it's just, you guys are just going a little into it. Before, we used to like ask a little bit of questions and do it like that. But I personally, I literally make a list. Like, this is all the stuff like I hear going on sometimes in terms of sex, love, and relationships. But also, I started to do more so like current, in terms of like how now we're doing the guys talk. Like, we added that segment to like talk
Mm-hmm.
about, this is what guys should be talking about, or what comes to the table for that situation. We added my solo episode where I do talk about polygamy on that episode and stuff, in
Mm-hmm.
terms of how to basically be comfortable, and just like information in terms of that. I do, and like different topics I learn about as I read, because I'm always reading something.
Mm-hmm.
But I do like to bring a lot of current stuff, especially in media. So maybe how I am going to do something like next time. I do want to do a big topic about sex education. Like, I do want to buckle down with that,
Mm-hmm.
especially watching one of the shows that I just finished. That's a good show, guys. Watch that. It's Sex Education on Netflix. That's a good. Great show, right? Watch it. It is such a great show. I finished all 3 seasons. Like, it is such a great show. Because it's like what you learn overseas, you would never learn that in America. Like,
Oh yeah, definitely not.
you would never learn that in America. It's like things that you should know as like at a young age, you would never know that. And it's like, this is why, we have so many teen pregnancies. This is why, things is happening where we're not educated, where to go, how to get this, how to, and it's like, wow, other countries, these people know this at like 13, 10, 12,
right.
Like they know this already, like where to go, how to get it, and it's like, even like when I personally was in high school, I knew about certain things that other people had no idea what I was even talking about. I was like, wow, so you don't know like where the clinic is, where to go, when to do X, Y, and Z.
Yeah, you don't know which boots forget.
They don't even know what I'm talking about. You're like, wow. I was like, so you don't know that if this doesn't fit you, you're supposed to get a different size? You don't know these things? I was like, wow.
People need to get tested too, but nobody know and check it out.
We definitely, and I definitely talked about that this season. I was like, I emphasize, when you should get tested, where you should know where the clinic is or where something is, the doctor's office, something.
Right.
I'm very like pro, know this information.
Pro-sex.
Pro-sex.
Pro-sex,
yes,
just call it. Is it?
But it's like, you should know these things, like, especially as we get older, like, we should be like, okay, like, I'm aware of this, I'm not aware of that, and it's okay to ask questions, but it's like, people are so scared to do these things, and I think that that's, like, a good constant conversation to have. That's why I'm always, like, preaching that. It's like, you should know when you should get tested. You should know, where the doctor's office is and when you can get it, how often you can get it done. If you want to get it done every day, you can get it done every day. These are things that you can do.
Right.
But it's like, that's the type of information, like, where, like, in the topics I want to give. I want it to be very informative. Even if it's regular, like, this book was about X, Y, and Z. Even the most simplest thing, like, let's talk about movies, because there's a lot of movies that are educational that we would never even think to watch. I don't like documentaries. Well, we could watch a documentary. Like, I could do that. Like, we can, if it's going to help us get somewhere, we could do that. Like, that's how I feel like content should be, especially now. But, everything is always different.
When I tell you different, everything is a pattern. Like, whenever I'm on social media, all I see is, smack ass challenge or kiss challenge or rate me or whatever. Like, the same type of challenges. And then
eating.
What they call it? Mukbang? Yeah, mukbang, right? Not them call it, right? Yeah.
I think that's what it's called, yeah. And I'll just be like, so you're just going to eat in front of me while you talk about whatever you're talking about?
But when it comes to something informative, it get like 200 view. But somebody eating like crab legs and all that, like 5K.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? They're pushing like high views. Exactly. Nonsense. Relationship channels. Oh, I'm going to play a prank on my girl. I got another girl pregnant prank, whatever. You know what I'm saying? 1 million view.
I'd be like, don't you think that's like, that prank be so embarrassing to some people?
Exactly.
And you'd be like, wow. Like, it'd be so crazy. I'd be like, this is what you want to do? Like, that just be crazy.
Right.
I'd be like, so you want to do this page so you can prank each other, and then it's just a whole fight after that? Because behind the scenes, I'm pretty sure it's a fight. Like, I'm pretty sure, you guys is arguing. Because you guys just disrespected each other on the camera and then posted it like it was okay.
And some of it, I feel like some of it is also like planned as well. Like, I feel like they script some of them, because I'll be reading some of the titles. I'm like, all right, there's no way like one person came up with this. I feel like this was like a team thing. Like, so babe, we're gonna, come up with this, and then you're gonna do that. They staged the whole fucking thing. You know what I'm saying? Exactly. Yeah.
Everything is scripted, and every channel's doing the same thing. I'm like, so I know you got the idea from the other people because you did the same thing. We can do our advice to people starting a channel or creating content.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's a good last thing to say. Okay, you wanna go? I'll go first. I guess I can go first. I think you should be optimistic. Like, I'm always saying that's okay. I know I'm the optimistic person, but but I think that you should take that leap, because I think that me and Shamar definitely took that leap. Because listen, season 1 was just a hot mess. Like, I don't know what was going on in my room, because we was in my room, if you remember. Season 1, we was in my room, and that was just a hot mess. Like, just a hot mess. But I think that taking that leap got us to get out of our bubble, if you want to get out of your bubble. And I do think that if that's something you want to do, you should take that, really do take that, and take it with someone that you're comfortable with. Don't just try to start something, with someone just because you think it's going to work. I think that comfortability plays a part in also like your teamwork, because I can be all business, because I could be business. Like, we could do this and be business savvy. Like, I could take my feelings out of something. But it's like a lot of people think that, you're supposed to, I guess, add that towards the end.
Yep.
And I don't think that, if this is business, we're going to do business. Like, some people just can't work that way once they get involved, I guess.
Yep.
So I think that, definitely know your boundaries in terms of your teamwork. And also know where your roles are. Because there's times that me and Shamar be fighting, like, I didn't want to do this and I didn't agree to that. Like, it's small fights. But it's like, you have to know, like, when your availability is as well. We're going to film this day. We're not going to film this day. I'm not available. I'm the most organized person in the world, son. Like, I got a list of everything. I'd be like, we're going to film this day, this time. This is the topics. Like, I do everything orderly, so at least everybody's on the same page, including the guests, because we have to have some type of stability in that sense as well. Mm-hmm. So, like, even just know that things is not going to go as planned as well, but take that time to know, I guess, what's your downfalls and how you can improve at the end.
Absolutely. You hit the nail in the head there. Organization plays a big factor when it comes to content creation. People, networking, please, like, stay on top of those people that you really want to work with and make sure they are serious about it, because you really don't want to, like, have that experience with someone that says, yeah, I'm down, what time, I can't wait.
Right.
But then, when that week comes and you get in contact with them and they don't even, like, send one response as a confirmation, like, okay, bet, or okay, cool. You don't get any of that, you start to worry.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You start to worry, and then, like, the day before comes and you still don't hear from them. And then the day come, you just sit down and, like, oh, well, man, now your whole routine is, like, thrown off.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And I'm speaking from experience. Can I tell a quick story real quick? So I was on Facebook because I boosted one of my episodes, and this guy got in contact with me. He was a comedian based in Florida. So I'm like, okay, yeah, this is definitely going to be like a virtual episode, because you're not going to travel all the way to New York just to interview. So he had a show coming up. So he kind of wanted to talk about that as well. I'm like, all right, that's cool. And we're also going to talk about, what triggered you to pursue your career in comedy on Ray, whatever, right? And then he was like, yes, Papi, we in there like swimwear, like, because he was Hispanic. So I'm like, all right, whatever. And the day came. It's a good thing that I had a guest that day anyway, because I don't just have one guest per session. I have like two. You know what I'm saying? So that day came, and, like, this dude just never responded. And I was just so upset, because it's like, yo, I have everything all set up. I have, like, my questions ready for you. Right. And you just take advantage. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, it's very overwhelming to, like, get in contact with people like that aren't serious. You know what I'm saying? And also, when it comes to you mentioned something about teamwork, how you guys had small fights and you guys were able to work it out. That's I have to applaud you guys for that, because, like, again, tracing back to my experience where someone responded to my poll about starting a podcast, and it's like they weren't working around filming.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? They weren't working around the availability. So it's like now I'm thinking of it like, okay, I feel like you just wanted a piece of the pie that everybody likes to engage in my post on social media and that I dance, and then the pictures that I post. So you like, all right, yeah, you want a piece of the clout now. That's what I felt like it was. I felt like you just wanted a piece of clout. That's why you wanted to say, oh, yeah, let's start a podcast, blah, blah, blah. You know what I'm saying? Like, no, people, it don't work like that. It don't work like that.
A lot of it's people like the attention.
Exactly. Chemistry is key. You know what I'm saying? Consistency. Be consistent with posting your content. Because people, again, short attention span, people can definitely like forget that your channel exists.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? What else? Promoting your content. If you gotta pay to promote, hey, there's always boosting ads on Instagram and Facebook, and that actually works. You just have to like make sure it's in the areas where, you know, people are definitely gonna tune in.
Right.
Have a good title, thumbnail, gotta look fire. You know what I'm saying? Cause thumbnail is something that people really enjoy look on. You know what I'm saying? Take that leap, people. What are you waiting for? You know, don't wait till it's too late. Because trust me, that idea that you have, somebody else can take it, and it's like, damn, that was supposed to be me. God damn. You know what I'm saying? So
no, I agree with, because I remember like we started our show, we started 2017, and literally like after that, like it was a peak. And like YouTube and like, you know, podcasts, and I was like, wow, like we started a good time. Like we got like our nice little bunch of first followers at a good time. And it was like, you know, also like people usually like our content because they keep it how it is, and it's like it's engaging and we're trying to be informative. But it's like when you have those first bit of followers, it's like those people are gonna really like stick with you, because it's like they always follow you, they always like something, they're always like in tune. It's like when we first started to say, like, because in the beginning we was always like comment, share, subscribe. We do not say that no more. Like we stopped that after like we did our outro. We started doing an outro, but we only did that because it's like we say that so much. It's like we did that already. Like we already instilled that into like our followers and who we have. So it's like if we make something catchy now, you're always gonna remember that.
Exactly.
So it's like I realized that after a while, like, you know, some people have really good intros and some people have really good outros. So it's like, why not create both and see which one catches the most? So like our outro, we try to keep it nice so you're gonna remember it.
Right.
So it's like that's why we're like, oh, you know, I thought of that on the fly, like mad random one day. I was like, oh, we should say this at the but I was like, people would remember that at the end. Like they're always gonna be like, oh, and they be like X, Y, and Z. Like, so something catchy is always gonna like stick to people. I think that's a good thing to have as well. But you would think of that randomly, you know, that takes time. A lot of random stuff like that takes time.
It definitely does take time because, you know, my outro is nothing crazy. It's just, I'm out. And then like, I started saying that, I think when, towards like the end of my first season. And then like, again, like people watching me visually, they see the body language that I'm doing it. Like it's a pause and it's, I'm out. Like, you know what I'm saying? So.
And it's like you're always gonna remember that now that when you see that, like that's catchy. Like,
I even had one of my guests, big up Ozzy. One of my guests, he did it when he was about to do it before I even said. I said, wait, not yet. So I'm like, yeah, you know, something catchy, it nice, you know.
And it's like if like you guys do it, you're like, oh, I know when to do it. Like he knew when you were about to do it. Like,
exactly.
That's nice. I like that. That's nice. That's really nice. Shout out to you, whoever you were, because that's really dope. That you just did that. Like that's dope. But I'm done. Do you have anything to shout out? I know you have a new season coming up.
People, Season 4 of the Millennial View podcast is currently filming. Seasons 1, 2, and 3 are available on the Millennial View podcast channel on YouTube. That is the Millennial View podcast. I talk about a variety of topics. Anyone is more than welcome to get in contact with me. Even if you have suggestions or you send me a meme or something that's, something to talk about, then fine. That's cool. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. It's I don't have a set date yet for when season 4 is going to release. I'm kind of aiming for like the beginning of November. Not too sure, but I just know right now I'm filming. So people, come check in.
So, oh no, say your Instagram and stuff.
Oh yes, people. You know the know. My IG sprint specialist 2 underscores after. You can follow my business page, the Millennial View with an underscore after it. That's on Instagram as well. My Twitter is YoSprint, YOW_sprint, and the YouTube channel, the Millennial View Podcast. People, check in.
You can follow me on Instagram and Twitter. It's Read the Host. You can follow my wonderful partner on Instagram and Twitter. It's _we want more. And make sure you follow the wonderful shows page on Instagram and Twitter, guys. It's TNTK Show. And as always, thank you for watching the show.
That's all you need to know.
Bye, guys.
I'm out.